Hi everybody, welcome to our Mondays of Learning. I'm going to invite my friend and business partner Sartre. Are you there, Sartre? Okay, so I'm going to invite you to join me.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm fine.
Okay, let's see how it is. I think I need to put it a little bit lower.
Hi, everybody.
Okay.
Hola.
What is it?
𝗟𝗲𝗿𝗂𝘁.
Hola. Hola, Cristina.
Hola, Cristina.
Yeah, and Ichio. Las dos.
So, we got a pretty, we're going to talk about macros.
Yeah, but we are going to try to explain in a really simple way, because if not, it's going to be really long, right?
Yeah.
And it can become complex for people as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so just start talking about the carbohydrates.
Let's talk about what the difference between macros and micros are, just quickly, just to delineate.
So, micronutrients are nutrients that your body needs basically for energy. And they have different functions that I will explain in each one of them. And the micronutrients are generally vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients that have essential bodily functions. They are involved in metabolic and biochemical processes in the body.
That's a good definition.
Yeah.
So we're talking about macronutrients today.
What are the
not
macronutrients?
Yeah.
So the macronutrients are three. There are carbohydrates, there are fats, and there are also proteins. So we are start talking about carbohydrates.
Sure.
Our carbohydrates are made from carbon and water, and they are essentially for energy in our body. It's the first source that our body chooses for energy. So it fuel our body with energy, right?
Yeah.
And what are the sources of these carbohydrates? There are fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes are sources of macronutrients. There are also of carbohydrates. There are also simple carbohydrates like sugar that are like a quick source of energy, right?
Yeah.
But we need to balance everything in our diets so we don't damage our body eating so much of what we don't need, right? And what are the roles of the carbohydrates? So they are they are a source of energy, right? Are used for energy in our body. Are also sources of vitamins and minerals. If we consider fruits and vegetables as a type of carbohydrate, they also provide vitamins and minerals in our bodies. They also feed good bacteria in the intestinal tract. And also the fiber in the carbohydrates are helping us to eliminate toxins from our body in a regular basis. So it is important, it is necessary.
So are there two types of fiber?
Yeah, there are two types of fiber. They are soluble and insoluble fiber. And the soluble fiber is the one that when it's combined with water, it forms like a jelly.
The soluble.
For example, soluble. So for example, flax seeds or chia seeds, when you put that in water, it forms like a jelly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And soluble fiber are good for slowing digestion. So if you will feel also satiated,
Yeah.
right? You are not going to just eat the fiber and in the next second you are going to feel hungry. No, it's a slow digestion, it's better digestion, and that is one of the functions of the soluble fiber. And
Mhm.
insoluble fiber that are in legumes and grains it provides like bulk for the stool. So
Yeah.
it helps the body to eliminate the toxins in the stool in an easy
Mhm.
way. So you don't need to strain. So fiber is a really important component in our diet, and we need to eat it every day.
Okay. So we talked about that. How does the body store fiber?
Sorry?
How does the body store fiber? Oh, sorry,
How
not
the
fiber.
body
Carbohydrates
carbohydrates.
in general. Yeah.
Yeah, they store in like they can be stored in the muscle in a
Yeah.
process, or also they are going to fuel the cell so we can function and we can have energy in our days.
Yeah.
Or also there are part of them that are stored in the liver as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, and so how does the body like deal with it? Like if we eat too much sugar and we have sugar in our bloodstream, like what happens?
Yeah, but I think that is a complex process that maybe we can explain in another time.
Okay.
The glucogenesis and or glycogenesis and are like complex process for the audience. Maybe just focus today on what we can they can understand better. What are the functions of the macronutrients in the body and what they are is important to eat a balanced diet.
Okay. Um, okay. I just wanted to say that if it's higher, if you eat more fiber, it's better than if you're eating just simple carbs, complex carbs over simple carbs, because it's better for you to prevent diabetes and your insulin levels and whatnot. Is all I want.
What can you repeat what you say? Sorry.
If you're eating simple sugar,
Yeah.
that's what will. If you're overeating in simple sugar instead of complex carbs, simple carbs, um, that's a reason why in North America, part of the North American diet, standard North American diet, is why we see diabetes so prevalent, is because we're eating too much simple sugar.
Yeah, but it's like everything needs to be in a balance, right?
Yeah.
We are not saying here that you need to eat simple sugars. Yeah,
No.
you can eat, but in a good proportion in the diet.
Too much is
Yeah, too much of anything is not good for the body.
Yeah. Anything else
So
about carbs?
no, so just you tell me about the carbs in the part of exercise.
Absolutely. So in terms of exercise, carbs are really important, because that's like the first few seconds of exercise, and to about, if you're exercising fairly vigorously, to about maybe 20 minutes or so, you have the stores that Betsy described in your muscles and liver. Of course, it's not like there's an overlapping, but around that time period, if you're working out, is when you're going to chiefly be using carbohydrates. And so it's important to load up and to eat a healthy array of carbs so that you can fuel yourself for the more intense, shorter workouts. People know the term anaerobic, meaning no oxygen. So it's typically those types of exercises, the weightlifting, things of that nature, is when your body will be drawing upon the carbs in your system.
Yeah. Okay. So is for the first part. How many minutes you say? 15 minutes of the exercise?
Around 15 to 20 minutes. Like
Okay.
beginning of your workout to about 15, 20 minutes is when you're going to be using mostly carbs.
Okay. That's good. And remember, because when we talk about carbs in general, people only think that carbs are like sugar or honey or maple syrup or maybe like pastries or cakes or things that are made from wheat or legumes. No, vegetables and fruits are a good source of carbohydrates and are a healthy source of carbohydrates. So your body know how to utilize that, and also they provide vitamins and minerals that are micronutrients.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else about carbs?
I think that's a good overview for people.
Yeah, it is.
I think.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Okay, so let's go and talk about proteins.
Sure.
So proteins are chains of amino acids, and amino acids are little blocks of little molecules that form the proteins. There are 22 amino acids that are in our body. From the 22, 9 of them are essential. That means that our body cannot produce these amino acids, and we need to take these amino acids from the diet. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So that is why now when we talk about protein, we also talk about the term that is called bioavailability.
Yes.
And what is the more bioavailable protein that your body can use? And what is the protein that has this complete pool of amino acids, right? So generally is known that is an protein of animal origin. But it doesn't mean that when you are a vegetarian or a vegan person, you can eat also the food. That's why you need to know how to combine the foods, right? So if you are eating, for example, beans or lentils or any legume, you can combine that with rice. A good quality rice, like brown rice, white rice, because you are completing this pool of amino acids. So you are not going to go into deficiencies in the future, right? So that is important to consider. And also, talking about the proteins in our body are very important for structure.
Yes.
And we have but they are not only important for structure. We have a kind of protein that are called fibrous protein that includes the collagen, the actin that is necessary in the muscle. And you maybe can talk more about that when you talk about the protein in the exercise. And also the keratin that is for nails, hair, and skin. Very important. But we also have other kind of proteins that are called clotted proteins. And these proteins are hormones, enzymes, right?
Yeah.
There are also antibodies.
Is growth hormone is a peptide? Protein-based, right? Hormone?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also lipid carrier proteins. We also have lipid carrier proteins that like transport some lipids through the body. And also we have hemoglobin is also a protein, that is blood cells, and hormones like insulin. insulin is also a protein. So there are also neurotransmitters in our brains that are necessary that are also proteins. So they play an important role in different parts of our body, right? And it's important to consume an adequate amount of protein every day. Why? Because as I was telling you, it doesn't need to be only with the structure in our body.
Yes, it helps with not just the anatomy and the structure, like you said, but also the physiology, many physiological reactions, be it protein or enzymes, like you say. So there's many roles that protein has. It's very important that people make sure that they hit their protein.
So when we talk about how much protein a person can, an adult, right? We are talking about adults here. An adult can have, if you have a kind of level intensity of exercise every day, you are not high intensity, you can eat between 0.8 to 1 gram of effective protein per every kilogram of your body weight. If you have the to moderate to intense activity, I will recommend 1.2 to 1.5. And if you have an intense, I will recommend more. I won't recommend more than 3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight because your kidney can be damaged and affected. So how would you calculate that? So if your body is you weigh like 100 kilograms, you will eat 100 grams of protein every day, right? But it's not that you are going to eat 100 grams of a steak. No. That is the weight of the food that you are eating. But in that, it is about 25 grams of protein. Effective protein. Effective protein means that your body can utilize that protein for the functions that I just mentioned before. Other thing that it is important that there was this tendency that you are in the gym and you drink protein every day and all the time. And these shakes that are in high amounts of protein. First, you need to know where this protein come from. Second, you need to read the ingredients. What is in the protein shake that you are taking? And third, if you have excess protein in your body is going to convert that into sugar and utilize it like energy. But you need to be very careful, as I mentioned. You need to know how much protein you need every day for your body to utilize without an excess, so you don't damage your kidney.
It's an important I mean, if you're lifting weights, if you're strength training, then it's absolutely important that it's important for everybody, but make sure that you are cognizant and paying attention to how much protein you're taking in, because if you want to the soreness that occurs after strength training, those are the tears in your muscles, and making sure that you have an adequate protein to help your body to rebuild for the next bout of session of exercise.
So anything else that you want to add in terms of exercise and protein?
No, I think just, it makes sense that if you're doing more strength training exercises, you're probably going to require more protein than if you're doing more cardiovascular based exercises. But besides that, I think you covered it quite well.
And also when you are taking protein shakes, if you are taking whey protein, even though it can have it's very bioavailable and is good, but whey protein can harm your intestine.
Yeah.
And can lead to leaky gut.
Mm.
So it is important the source of protein that you are taking in that shakes. And make sure it is well made.
Sorry?
Make sure that the supplements are well made.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You need to read the ingredients, right? Because when you read the ingredients of some protein shakes, you start finding maltodextrins and other components and other chemicals that your body won't like it.
Yeah. Things that aren't necessary.
Exactly. And plant-based protein that is complete is tofu, that is made from soybeans, right? The problem with the tofu is that most of the soy is GMO.
Oh, okay.
So that is a big problem because humans modify this to their own benefits. But the problem is that that is no good for the body. Your body cannot read well what to do with that. So if you choose to eat tofu, make sure that is organic and no GMO. Because it will be a complete source of protein.
Okay.
And if you don't like soybeans, just make sure you learn how to combine the foods so you can take all the pool of the amino acids because it's essential. You don't want it to create deficiencies in your body.
Yeah.
And now we can talk about fats.
Yeah.
So fats are the other micronutrient that is like important for fuel in our body. Also, our body takes fuel from fats. Is good for insulation. Is that you pronounce that? Insulation? To keep your body temperature.
Yeah, insulation.
Insulation. That is to keep your body temperature, right?
Yeah. Temperature
also to regulate. Are also important components of the cellular membranes.
Yes.
So are also brain components.
Absolutely.
Our brain, are also important for the creation of some hormones.
Yes.
That play important roles in our body.
Like people might think that the word steroid might mean like they're hormones in our body that our body makes naturally. So steroid hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, anything that ends with "-one".
Cortisol, cholesterol.
Yeah, and the alls too.
Yeah. So because one group of fats are called esterates, like cholesterol, right?
Yes.
And for example, cortisol and these sexual hormones are, and I mean from this kind of fats.
Yeah.
So
you get it a lot from animal fats, right?
From animal fats, yeah. And other important function of fats is body signaling. Like they help to communicate the cells within each other and know what is going out, what is going in, like that is important. And also fats help to absorb some of the vitamins that are not soluble in water.
Like vitamin D,
vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin E, and vitamin K.
I knew K was there. Yeah. I knew K was one of them, and I knew D was one of them. And the fat soluble vitamins that you don't just pee out.
So fats are also important. It's like what, for example, I talk to my clients is don't deprive yourself for any of the nutrients. Because you know these fake diets that are like I only eat fat, like ketogenic diets, right?
Yeah.
Or I only eat carbs, like Atkins diets or things like that. So no, because your body needs everything, as we are saying. Every nutrient has their own roles.
Was keto
and
like
every nutrient is important. Sorry?
Sorry, I think I cut you off. Keep going.
And every nutrient has a function in your body. You
Yes.
just need to be balanced.
Yes. Yes. I mean, where you just said ketogenic, so like I think isn't it like less than 20% protein for keto diet, or even less, like maybe 5% protein. The
For
ketogenic
keto?
diet, the original one for the and where did these diets come from too? People need to realize, like the ketogenic diet came because it was for epileptic kids, because if you're just running on fat, which is like the diesel fuel of the body, you're not going to have the sparks from like the carbs, and so you're not going to get seizures like from eating carbs.
But I think ketogenic diets, no, I don't have that on the top of my mind, but I think it's only like 5 or 10% of carbs that you can eat from that diet.
Or less. I think it's less. I think it's 5 or 10% protein. Like it's a lot of fat. It's all fat.
And
almost all fat.
Carbs like 5% also? I'm not sure.
Maybe even less. A scant amount. Because people, and another thing is, like you said, carbohydrates. So the reason why a lot of people, you're going to just burn off, you're not going to burn, but you're going to, if you go on a ketogenic diet or a carb-free diet, let's just say, a carb-free diet, you're going to lose a lot of water weight the first week if you're strict with it. Oh my God, I lost 5 pounds. I lost 10 pounds. Yeah, because you just lost a lot of water. That's why it's called carbohydrate. It needs water to store. So they're all there for a reason, the macronutrients. And I think they need to be respected. I mean, we've had the fat-free diets in the 90s and late 80s and 90s. We've had the carb-free diets in the 2010s. God forbid we have a protein-free diet. Like, that's just impossible, really.
No, and if you don't eat protein, you will have, in some point, a protein malnutrition. Like,
yeah,
there is a kind of malnutrition that is because you are not eating protein, and it's these little kids that they look like this, like obese. They are not obese. They have malnutrition.
Yeah.
And their bellies are like bones.
Yeah.
Like little. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you need your array of. That's the thing, is think about it with the macros as opposed to. I mean, you might have ethical reasons, but in terms of like your health, like you say, it's about knowing what your macros are. And we're not saying you need to count them necessarily. Like it depends.
Well, maybe some people don't like what I'm going to say, but calorie counting doesn't work for anything.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, balance work. You cannot become obsessed on how many calories are you taking. And for example, all the people also that have this carnivore, they only eat meat. Carnivore
diet. Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, so no. You are putting your body in a high level, your kidneys in a high level of stress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another big one.
And also, there have been studies that kind of diets can be carcinogenic at some point.
Now, there are exceptions to every rule, and with the Inuit population who have been there for thousands of years and who now have different metabolic profiles, they can basically be carnivore.
But that is an exception, as you say. It's not like we all here in the city trying to imitate or do things that we don't understand really well. And I will say to the audience, if you want to go in a fat diet, go and read, research, ask questions, but don't jump because my aunt is doing the same, or my best friend is doing the same, or my
whoever in your life is doing something, and they might have some short-term success in terms of weight loss, but
and you need to understand your body, and everybody's body is not the same, so you need to understand what is happening, because it's only what is happening around you. What is your environment? How is your body like handling things, emotions? How stress? Are you sleeping enough? Like, there is so many components to take into consideration. It's not just diet. If you want to upgrade and improve your health, right? Something that I was going to mention about fats also, there are also some essential fatty acids that are not produced for the body, or some we need to take it, like omega-3 and omega-6. But remember last time when we talked about the proportion.
And 9.
Yeah, and omega-9. Yeah, that's true. And the proportion of omegas that we need to supposed to eat is 1:1. But now with this offering of our food industry in the shelves, we are like disproportional eating a lot of omega-6 and low omega-3. And the thing is that the omega-6 is the base of the inflammatory processes in the body. So we become chronic inflamed because we are eating excess of omega-6. And also, don't believe everything that the TV commercials say.
What do they say?
For example, they say, oh no, margarines, right? Margarines that replace butter from the cows. There are cholesterol free. Yeah, of course they are. But also they are healthy. No, they are not healthy. The processes to make a margarine imply
margarine,
chemicals, and also degrade things. Like, don't eat margarines. And sometimes I get like, how you can the Heart Association approve this as a healthy alternative? So think about, analyze who is pushing sometimes things for the doctors' associations to be approved.
Yes, a simple way to eat is, if it's not meat, it should have fiber, or it's water. That's about it. People just it's that simple. I'm not saying it's easy with our food food security.
Yeah, and if you eat live foods that come from plants.
Yeah, colorful live food with fiber in it. Done.
And what about the fats during the exercise? So that is the last.
Thank you. So yeah, fats. So you need fats for usually about 20 minutes onwards, and in your exercise bout, if you're exercising fairly vigorously, and that's when you're kicking into the aerobic, so requiring oxygen, as part of the aerobic pathway. It's called aerobic fat oxidation. So you're using the fat with air to then burn it. And so a byproduct is water, sweat. So when you start sweating, you're probably starting your aerobic pathways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, eat your fat, and I don't know. I mean, it tastes good for a reason.
Yeah, and also choose your sources. And as I said in the beginning, nothing in excess is good.
No, nothing.
So it's like you can choose very well the oils when you're going to cook. As I mentioned, omega-6 is the base of inflammation, is where the inflammation processes start. So what are the oils high in omega-6? Canola oil, sunflower oil, corn oil, vegetable oil. All of these healthy oils that we find in the shelves that are not really healthy. So if you are going to choose a good oil to go with extra virgin coconut oil, that I know has saturated fat, but saturated fat also have necessary.
It's not a trans fat.
It's
a naturally occurring
not trans fat, exactly. It's natural, and just do it in a really moderate way.
I like olive oil.
Sorry?
I like olive oil.
Olive oil is good. The thing is that olive oil degrades when it's high temperature.
Yeah, you gotta be
so
careful.
It is important to either like in salads, or if you are going to cook in olive oil, just low to medium temperature. So that avoids the degradation of the oil.
Yeah. We didn't talk about trans fats too much. Did you want to talk about that?
Trans fats are essentially fats that you find in food that is not good for you.
Yeah. Frankenfoods. It's going to be in all the Frankenfoods. So it's fact that this is not naturally occurring. That's what you need to know, everybody, everyday people, is that it's not naturally occurring. So it's going to be harder for the body to take care of, because this body's like, what is this?
Yeah, it's like when you are eating GMO things, right?
Yeah.
The body's like, what is this that you are telling me, giving me right now?
Yeah.
How I can process this? So I think that is essential, right? What we talk about. I'm trying to see here
it's, as people can see, like this was a light conversation. I mean, just an overview, and it's already 7:08 Mountain Time. We've been talking for almost 40 minutes, and so it can get a lot more. I mean, a lot more detailed, but those are the essentials. Is that make sure that you're eating things that are naturally occurring and moderately, and the fourth, the three macronutrients.
And life, things that are life.
Yeah.
Things that the earth produces.
Yes.
And if you want to eat like meat, choose the right meats that you can eat. Meats that are grass-fed, organic, that you can trust that these cows were fed not with cereals. They were fed like with grass, right? So try to research the origin of the things that you are eating too, because if you are eating meat in an exaggerated proportion and you are eating this meat that is coming from cows that are fed with cereals that have been genetically modified, what that food is doing for your body, right?
Yeah. It trickles down biomagnification.
Exactly. So that's an important message. Like, choose what you are going to eat.
Yeah.
And if you are in a hurry and you cannot cook, so consult someone that can guide you and that can give you good alternatives.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways that you don't have to cook, but save yourself time and be very healthy along the way.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be a McDonald's, or I don't want to make fun of them, a fast food. I don't want to talk about a certain fast food joint, but yeah, it doesn't have to be fast food or whatever. It can be, there's other options out there for convenient foods to hit all your macros, to tie it in, to hit all your macros in one meal.
Yeah, but not only macros, you need to eat micronutrients in your meals too.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is if you're eating a variety of macros, especially plant-based, colorful macros or whatever foods, then you're going to probably hit your macros too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
What?
I did.
Yeah. That was a good conversation. Just went off.
Yeah, and that's why I told you, let's don't go to all these processes of storage, because if no, we can talk like for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope people enjoyed this.
Yeah, and learn a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So, everybody have a good week. You have a good night, Sartre.
Yeah.
We talk next Monday with our audience in another topic.
Sure. Sounds good. All right, Betsy.
Okay.
Take care.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone.